But I think MVP. Now, I'm going to look at this the way I did with Michael Jordan. Now, she's not the Michael Jordan of her sport as far as athleticism, playing, dominating. But Asia Wilson is the best player in the game.
Have you noticed the amazing feats that Caitlin Clark has been performing lately? She is truly a wonder. Caitlin Clark is a phenomenon. If I were to ask anyone who believes she isn't the Rookie of the Year, I would ask them who they would want to start their team with. I won't include Asia Wilson because I'm just saying that. While Angel Ree is a fantastic player, she isn't comparable to Caitlin Clark. This rookie isn't just helping the Fever make a playoff run, she's upending the entire WNBA MVP race. Caitlin Clark, she just became the all-time scoring leader in women's college basketball. So I'm wondering where you would rank her among all-time college players. Oh, that's difficult because she won one. I feel like that college is one of those places where you have to win one to even have your name mentioned. It took me 3 years to win mine, so it was difficult, but congrats to her, even though Asia Wilson might still be the front runner. Everyone is taking notice of Clark's incredible stats. This player isn't simply accumulating points, she's also altering the game itself. The biggest difference, of course, is that Caitlin Clark should be considered for MVP Rookie of the Year foregone conclusion. There is now a genuine chance that A. Wilson will not win the MVP award, and Wilson's response to seeing Clark's numbers is significant. 2 years ago, their home attendance was 1,800 fans. This year, their average is 17,000, which is nearly 10 times. Priceless for the record, even the best players in the league cannot equal those abilities. Caitlin, who ranks 15th in the WNBA, isn't much of a defender, but she can and will steal the basketball. Let's break it down into 40 points. I don't see anyone control a game the way Caitlin can, and it's not a one-time thing. Clark has been consistently dominant all season, leading the league in assists and scoring like a seasoned vet. Her most recent performance of 10 assists and 7 rebounds is not only impressive, but it's MVP caliber stuff, and she is beginning to push Aya as the best player in the league. The WNBA has 18 games this season with an average viewership of over 1 million, and 16 of those 18 have featured Caitlin Clark playing basketball. You may be wondering how a rookie can be in the MVP conversation, but get ready because Clark is rewriting the WNBA playbook. Her impact goes beyond the numbers. She's drawing in new fans, increasing viewership, and getting everyone's attention. The WNBA as a whole is really hot right now and is still growing. We learned that Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever received 2. I apologize, but it's gotten to the point where after winning Rookie of the Year more than 2.5 weeks ago, Caitlin Clark is now attempting to push Asia Wilson for the league's MVP award. I'm not exaggerating, but this isn't just about Rookie of the Year anymore. Clark is making a strong case for MVP, and it's impossible to ignore. I can't help it. You've seen the highlights, but Caitlin Clark's influence goes beyond the numbers. I can't stop watching and talking about how she's influencing game after game. In one season, the Indiana Fever went from being a bottom feeder to a playoff contender. What's causing this dramatic change is that she takes over, she's a maestro, and she controls game after game with her passing in her carefully chosen spots to score. Clark is at the center of it all. Let's go back a little to last season, when the Indiana Fever finished with a dismal 1,327 record. Now, they're sitting pretty at 1,816, with a playoff spot secured. Caitlin Clark may be the best athlete in the world right now, but she puts the needs of the team above her own. When was the last time you saw Caitlin Clark discussing a teammate? When was the last time you saw her discussing herself or any of her achievements? Let me answer that for you. She may have been an egomaniac, but you never ever hear that now, which is why their team has improved. Although it feels like they are a completely new squad, the lineup hasn't changed much aside from one important addition, and everyone in the league is aware that she is currently the league. Caitlin Clark, did you see how the team has been on fire since the Olympic break? They've gone 7-1, and guess who's leading the charge? This rookie isn't just putting up outstanding stats, she's entirely changing the franchise. It's Clark, in addition to scoring goals, she uplifts everyone in her vicinity and gives her teammates fantastic opportunities. There is value that I can attach to that now that might not fit in the categories that everyone would consider for MVP, even though the offense is clicking and opponents are having trouble keeping pace. I'm talking about value to a franchise, value to a league, and getting your team into the playoffs. They had the #1 pick and were the worst team last year. I am speaking of value. The most valuable player was Michael Jordan. You may be wondering if one player can have such a significant impact. In a recent WNBA playoff game, Caitlin Clark was hit by DJ Carrington, which caused a lot of talk. This reminds me of a moment that changed my life in 2016 when I was traveling to a friend's reunion when a distracted driver ran a red light and struck me. After my car broke down, I had to have many knee surgery. Because insurance companies frequently attempt to underpay you following an accident, I'm thrilled to introduce our sponsor, Morgan & Morgan. They are the biggest personal injury law firm in the nation, and should you become their client, they will fight for the best outcome for your case, whether it's a minor accident or something more serious. The best part is that you don't have to pay them up front if they lose. You don't have to. If you ever get into an accident, keep in mind your alternatives so you can begin your claim. Thanks to Morgan & Morgan for sponsoring this video. You can now view it by clicking the link in the description below. After the college basketball season, Clark needed a break. A month later, she's playing games against very good teams, and they stack the schedule up front so everyone can watch her play. She struggled, but it's more than just statistics. Clark is averaging 37.6 points per game, whether through scoring or assisting. That's not just amazing. She's on track to break a WNBA record. Let that sink in. In the fourth quarter, Caitlin Clark's three-point shooting has improved, and no one in the league can make three-pointers as easily as she can. She has the vision of a seasoned point guard and the scoring ability of a superstar. To my surprise, Caitlin Clark has already proven to be a once-in-a-generation passer, something I did not anticipate at Iowa. I assumed she was the greatest scorer in college basketball history, both for men's and women's teams, but LeBron's incredible bounce passing, which began on July 1st, has transformed the Fever's offense from the worst in the league to the best. While Caitlin's two-thirds of the season was marked by an all-time record turnover, it's the Clark effect, and she's not just recording MVP-caliber numbers, she's pushing her entire team to new heights. Pace is like that, and it's almost like she was wanting to turn the basketball over. When you consider how few rookies enter the league and instantly turn a struggling team into a playoff contender, Caitlin Clark is sweeping the WNBA assist lead and is 25 points ahead of everyone else in the league. However, Clark isn't your average rookie, she's a game changer. A franchise that changes the Indiana Fever, a team that finished 13-27 last season, are now the league's hottest team. Remember when we thought we understood what makes a great WNBA player? Clark has completely altered that viewpoint. She is a talent who is redefining what's achievable in the WNBA and is having an impact on her team that no other team in the league is having on her team. Since ET and the figures are so bizarre that you could think there's a glitch, let's examine why Clark is a nightmare for defenders to begin with. She is not just good at one thing, she excels at everything. In terms of assists, Clark leads the league. Yes, that's correct. When it comes to setting up her teammates, a rookie is surpassing more seasoned point guards, but this is where it gets even wilder as a scorer as well as a passer. Powerhouse as well, and we're not referring to standard score. You might think that with that kind of range, Clark would struggle near the basket, but that's not all. She's finishing at the rim like one of the league's top big players, converting 63.6% of her attempts within 5 feet of the hoop, which is impressive for a guard and elite for any player. Most players shoot threes from just behind the arc, but Clark is hitting them from 30 to 34 feet away with over 37% of her shots. Can you imagine trying to guard someone who poses a threat the moment they cross half court? It's simple. Conversely, Clark's offensive utility is incredible. She can generate plays and score passes at any time. Defenses have no idea how to stop her. If you play her tight, she will blow you away. If you give her space, she will sink a long three straight in your face. More than any other player in the league, Clark is setting up her own shots. She is the playmaker and the coordinator of the entire offense together. But it's not just about the stats. Teams are having to completely reevaluate their defensive game plans as a result of Clark's unique abilities. How do you defend someone who can play any position on the court? If you double team her, she will locate an open player and play you one-on-one, scoring points for your NBA team. I'm talking about players, coaches, and referees, and they're all jealous people that despise Caitlin Clark. Yes, they are making a big deal out of Caitlin Clark in order to disparage her. Skylar Diggins is bumping her, and their girls are whining on the bench while the refs get involved. Now, they are all hate mongers. Remember that last season when the team was at the bottom of the league? It's a no-win situation for defenders. Clark's on-court performance is impressive. Just wait till you see how she's increasing TV ratings. You've seen how Clark's talent is rewriting the playbook, but her influence goes far beyond just winning games. She's not just changing the game, she's reshaping the entire women's basketball scene, and the numbers are astounding.